everybody, and welcome to today's video. I'm going to share with you what I got this week at the thrift store. I'm also going to share with you what we're going to make that has to do with survival. I hope you stay tuned. Okay everybody, welcome back. So I'm going to share with you what I got this week at the thrift store. Then we're going to work on a project. We are going to make homemade bandages, but not just homemade bandages, we're going to actually sterilize them. So what's the point having all the water you need, having all the food you need, having everything you need, but then having a small bacterial cut that you end up losing your life over? We have to think, when we think about survival, we have to think of all aspects of survival. You know, back in before there was modern medicine, the number one thing that people died from was scrapes and cuts and bruises like that. Things that opened the skin and bacteria entered, and it was such an easy way to control that, but they didn't know. All right, so I'm going to show you what I got at the thrift store. 50 cents, I got some of this gauze. We got some needles for 75 cents, but we're not going to do any sewing. Well, we're not going to do any sewing that has to do with clothing. And then I got this for $1. The candle that never burns down. So I think this is going to be really unique, and we'll see if it works. But lifetime candles. That's what we need, right? We need something that's going to last forever. Well, we'll see how that works. Then I did get this. I thought it was really cute for 20 cents. I got some of this adhesive tape for $1. I got some of these napkins for 20 cents. And then I got this material for $2. Now this is going to give us bandages. So first thing you want to do is you want to look at something that is cotton, so it's easy to absorb, and this is cotton. So this is going to be great as bandages, and we're going to cut them, and I'm going to show you how we make them. Remember all those old pioneer movies? You know, when everybody would get hurt and the woman would take her petticoat and she would rip a piece of fabric and she would use that as a bandage? That's fine, but you know what? When you have a cut or you have something that is open wound, you really don't want to have something like that that has all kinds of bacteria in it. Some would say this is a bit extreme, but it's all aspects of survival. It's all aspects of what would happen if you couldn't go away from your home. The whole point of my videos are to share with you, if you couldn't leave your home, what would you do? And there we have a good bandage. Now, depending on the wound that you have, you can reuse these. Let's just say you would have a small scrape or something like that. This you probably could wash, boil, and reuse it again. Or you could have a deeper wound and you wouldn't be able to reuse it. But this, I think, is perfect size. You can wrap it around a couple times, and there's going to be videos showing you how to do that. But then we're going to go ahead, we're going to take a wide mouth quart jar, and we're going to put the rags in there. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to make a lot of these bandages. Now, of course, when you open this, you're not going to have it sterile anymore. So if you open one of these, then you want to go ahead and you want to re-sterilize it. If you had all of the supplies and you were able to do that. It would be better if you would just put one bandage in one jar, but who has that many jars? So we're going to do it this way. So I'm going to go ahead and rip up all these bandages. They're different sizes. So this one's a little smaller. but all of them are going to work perfect for what we need them for. All right, I'll get back to you in just a minute. So now we have our 4 jars. Each jar holds about 4 to 5 bandages. So we have 20 bandages here. We want to have everything dry. You're not going to add any water to any of this. So you want your lids dry. You want everything dry. We're dry canning it basically. So we're going to put it in our lids on. Now as you see, I didn't wash anything. Like I didn't wash the lids. You don't need to because we're going to be pressure canning them. All right, now we have our bandages. They're ready to go. What's the point of having the bandages sterile if the water that we have to wash our wound isn't? So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna can some water. Now I bet you're starting to think, oh my word, Tessie, what the world are you doing now? Canning water is sterilized water. While we have the 4 jars in our pressure canner, we're gonna go ahead and pressure can some water. Beside me here you have the Berkey water filter. This is the bottom part of it. This is filtered water. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to put some water in here. These jars have been washed and sanitized, but of course now they're in the air like this, they're not sanitized anymore. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to fill up our jars with water. I guess in all due reality, you really wouldn't have to have filtered water to begin with because we are going to sterilize it with the pressure canner. If you don't have a pressure canner, you can water bath just as well. But if you do have a pressure canner, I would recommend you pressure can all of these items. You're thinking, well, you know, jars are hard to find. I know that, but having water that is sterile is really important if you're going to have sterile bandages. All of these items put together, you may never use them, but you know what? It's nice to have them because when you need it, you're going to need it. What happens if you can't go to the doctor? These things could happen, and this is part of survival. If you're going to have survival in food and you're going to have survival in other areas, you might as well have a little bit of survival in everything. Because who wants to die from just a small bacterial infection? That's something to think about. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to fill up our pressure canner, just like you would if you were canning food. All right, so we're just about at the 10-pound pressure mark. When it gets to the 10-pound pressure, I'm going to hold it there for about, I don't know, 10 minutes. I said I was going to turn it off. There's all kinds of things you can do. You can let it on for 30 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Honestly, it's as sterile as it's going to get with this method. I mean, this isn't the same as a hospital or anything like that, but it's a lot better than not having it sterile at all. So we're going to let it get to about, there's a 10-pound pressure. We'll let it about 15 minutes, 10-15 minutes. Really, it's all a matter of what you think. It's all a matter of how much pressure you want in it. Start with our water, sterilized water, and make sure you want to label that. Now let's see what the rags look like. Absolutely no moisture in there whatsoever. The rags are dry in the inside. Make sure you want to label them. Pretty cool. So there we have sterilized rags. There's absolutely no moisture on the inside. Those of you who aren't too sure about all this, in 24 hours, we're going to take one of these out and I'll show you that it's sterile, it's dry, and this is perfect for in that emergency medical need that you have. Thanks for watching. wax insert. You're going to put it in here like this. Lock it into place. So there is the top of it. Now we're going to go ahead, we're going to light it. And there you go, a forever candle. Isn't that cool? So I think you can use any candle, any little candle you can put in here. The candle is nothing special. So it just takes a candle and it keeps pushing it up so the candle doesn't burn as quick. I don't know, it's amazing.